Colossal Biosciences is using CRISPR gene editing technology to resurrect animals that have gone extinct. They are starting next year with a woolly mammoth and are making plans for the Tasmanian tiger. The plan is to release 100 woolly mammoths inside a park in Siberia. This is officially being done under the guise of climate change. They claim that by adding megafauna back into the Arctic tundra, it will offset carbon emissions. The company has already raised over 12 million euros, which includes funding from the CIA. The CIA's venture capital firm, In-Q-Tel, is a stakeholder of Colossal Biosciences. Euronews points out that the plan seems counterproductive, seeing as how over 30% of trees worldwide are currently going extinct, and points out its potential dangers of introducing ancient unknown pathogens into our modern world. But when you look into the company's co-founder, George Church, it becomes clear that it's really all about pushing the agenda of human cloning and transhumanism. Harvard scientist George Church received donations from 2005 to 2007 from Jeffrey Epstein, the infamous transhumanist who was planning on establishing a baby farm at his New Mexico ranch to seed the earth with his DNA. In 2019, Church awkwardly apologized for his association with Jeffrey Epstein on 60 Minutes.
But it was one of these things where you first learn about it, and it's just like, when you first hear about it, it doesn't sound like it's something serious. And it's only recently that we've found out that there was something serious, or that become aware how serious it was.
The professional connection between Jeffrey Epstein and George Church was their common desire to clone humans, which is something that Church is most passionate about. His work has been focused primarily on creating superior humans and wants to bring Neanderthal man back from extinction and give them their own culture and political force. He is also passionate about creating customized living creatures out of DNA to serve mankind as we see fit. When asked if he believed in God, Church responded that he respects all people's faith, but his faith is in science, and that the true understanding of nature is only available to the scientists. This psychopathy that has infected man with an obsession to play God has attracted many atheists into the field of genetic engineering.
The word chimera no longer refers to an ancient mythological creature having the head of a lion, the torso of a goat, and a serpent tail. It is a scientific reality of the world today. Animal-plant hybrids, like GMO tomatoes with fish scale skin, hybrid viruses spliced together in a biolab, and even human-animal hybrids, where human stem cells are inserted into animal eggs to fertilize a mutant embryo. Supposedly, technological advances announced in the 1970s enable scientists today to mix the genes of different animals and the genes of animals and plants. But how long have these types of experiments been carried out covertly across the world? And what human-animal chimeras have been created? In Russia in 1926, biologist Ilya Ivanov attempted to artificially inseminate women with chimp sperm. Artificially inseminate a transplanted woman's ovary inside a female chimp, and he even grafted slices of ape testes onto rich aging men in an attempt to rejuvenate their vigor. It would be naive to believe this type of experimentation ever stopped, or ceased to advance through its practice. Who knows what monsters have been spawned behind closed doors in the 20th century, but in the 21st century, human-animal hybridization is finally creeping out into the open. In 2003, Chinese scientists successfully fused human cells with rabbit eggs, and that same year, Dr. Pan Zavos claimed claim to have created human cow embryos that could have been implanted into a woman and successfully come to term. In 2005, human fetal stem cells were transplanted by injection into the fetal cells of a sheep and succeeded in growing tissue of human origin. In 2006, human embryonic stem cells were successfully inserted into mouse blastocysts, basically an egg, where it grew into a human mouse embryo in vitro that could then be implanted into a foster mouse uterus to complete the chimera's creation. In 2017, scientists created a human pig chimera, over 2,000 of them, that were transferred to surrogate sows. More than 150 of the embryos developed into chimeras that could have come to term. In 2018, human sheep chimeras were successfully developed and were allowed to grow as embryos for 28 days before being terminated. In April of 2021, the Salk Institute for Biological Studies in La Jolla, California, participated in a China-led research experiment that successfully grew human cells in monkey embryos. The long-tailed macaque human creation was allowed to survive and multiply, growing for 19 days before terminating it, all to, quote, aid the study of embryonic development. So why not just study embryos of the same species? Why create a chimera? The research team at the Salk Institute in California, led by Professor Juan Carlos Belmont, wrote, quote, these results may help to develop effective strategies to improve human chimerism in evolutionary distant species. In other words, they're just practicing creating human-animal hybrids so they can get better at it. Some US lawmakers seek to outlaw human-animal hybrids, but when it came to a vote in the Senate at the end of May 2021, the ban on creating chimeras failed 48-49 along party lines. Why is this a divisive issue? Isn't the ethical question and answer clear here? One researcher from the Salk Institute oversaw a study funded by the NIH, which led to a report titled Emerging Field of Human Neural Organoids, Transplants and Chimeras, Science, Ethics, and Governance. In reference to the title of the report, researchers said, quote, the term chimera is used because it is scientifically accurate, and the committee believes that its connection with the monsters of ancient myths is too remote to warrant avoiding its use. They genuinely believe mythical monsters like the half-man, half-bull minotaur, the half-man, half-horse centaur, or the half-woman, half-fish mermaids will not come to mind in the public discourse when human-animal hybrids are announced. The report also said some studies of human-animal hybrids created concerns about, quote, animals acquiring attributes that could be viewed as distinctly human, or humans taking on roles that should be reserved for a deity. So the chimera researchers are concerned about human-animal hybrids being worshipped as deities, such as the ancient chimera deity Ishtar, the half-owl, half-woman fertility goddess, Pan or Satyr, the half-man, half-goat god or Ganesha, a Hindu god that is half-elephant, half-man. Egyptian, Assyrian, Greek, and Roman myths abound with creatures that are a cross between humans and animals. So does this illustrate the imagination of the human mind? Or is this evidence that the antediluvian world was successfully geoengineering human-animal hybrids?